Welcome back to Lenz's Comic Corner Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode number 2732 and episode 2626. We have two Superman trades. First from very recently, and the other from the late 40s. First we have is Superman by Joshua Williamson, Volume 2, The Chained, which collects Superman Volume 6. Yeah, it's Volume 6, Issue 6 to 12 of this book. Yes, and by the way, this back cover here, that's Lee Bergamo who does that really good cover. So, what happens over the course of these issues? Well, by the way, there's lots of references to previous Superman stories in here. We'll get to that. Your artist, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh, there is like I think because issue 7's got like 3 artists on it. Yes, so actually 5. So these are the artists for these issues. 6 to 8 is done by Galeb Markov. David Cole does issue 8 with the first artist. And also does artists for issues 11, 12. Bruno Rodino does 9, 10. Dan Jurgens, yes, Dan Jurgens does issue 7 with Edwin Goldman. Noah Parama does also issue 7. And also issue 8, so basically 8's got 3 artists on it. 12 has got 2 artists with, of course, Dave Boland. 8 has got, oh my gosh, like a 1, 2, 3. So 8's got 4 artists with Jamal Campbell and Carlo Filippi in issue 10. 10 only has 1 artist, actually 2 artists. Yeah, that's kind of weird though. 6 the other one's got 1 artist, everyone's got like a whole bunch. So basically, yeah. What happened in the previous set of issues is that Lex Luthor got stabbed in prison. So, well, actually, more he got shanked. So, he gets put into a hospital. And, of course, Superman basically, it's like... Oh, by the way, Livewire is basically like... You have Superman basically fighting bad guys. You read this like... It's, like, basically what they promised. It's... What they promised when they launched this shit for Superman last year... was that it was going to be the same feeling we had from 1990 Superman. What people like about the 90s Superman. And of course, Lois is basically editor-in-chief. You have all this stuff, and it's like, la la la, and all she wants is to sit down at her desk. And then her husband shows up. Yes. Oh, by the way, here's a little thing. Like, her son this show a little later, and then of course, Superman goes back to Supergirl. This is kind of weird, because the artwork has been inconsistent when it comes to this. Like, here's a Superman logo already finished, and yet later issues has the words under construction. I'm not sure, I don't know if it's a hologram or something, and then basically we have Mercy Graves here. Yeah, and it mentioned about something called The Chained. The Chained is simply put basically a prison meant to contain one particular prison. I find a little later who this is. You see, the project was set up by Carl Draper and Sebastian Stryker. They mention here Sebastian Stryker is the founder of Stryker's Island Penitentiary, as in the prison from Superman comics, which that was not a New 52 creation. That was right even pre-Flashpoint. So, my guess is the reason why it's included in the current the reason why it was brought into the current continuity because it was already there. So, no need to create an original prison. I think at one point Lex was in prison there briefly when he had scars on his face and they got ignored. So they go to the prison, they find who's inside of it. And there's this guy here. Who is this guy? This actually is Sam Stryker. This is revealed to be Sam Stryker. He's the son of the founder. And the guy's insane. He thinks Superman is some experiment that was created by Lex Luthor. Because he got powers. Yeah. So, he breaks out. He's like, ooh, love Metropolis. Like, Superman, what have you done? And Perry, who by the way is running for office. By the way, love this splash page. Yeah, he's running for mayor. And of course, they're attacking with a chain. And of course, they're saved by Supergirl, Steel, Chinese Superman. I believe that's, I'm thinking that's Connor there. I think it's Connor. Here, it's Connor. Yeah, I think it's Connor in that jacket. Yeah, Supergirl. Who I still think should have a comic now. Like, why does she have a comic? Like, Superman's got a comic. Power Girl was surprised to got a comic, but not Supergirl. Isn't I find that weird? So, Superman gets briefly imprisoned in the chain, so he does break out. Oh, by the way, he's able to basically frame himself, like, okay, trying to vibrate? Yeah, I'm afraid to talk, but basically Flash taught him how to vibrate. And no, that is not an adult reference. Basically, the vibrating is shaking your body so you can phase through buildings. That's mostly what the Flash does. So, and of course, Superman fights this guy. And his whole story is like the first half of it. And then we have Dr. Fran, Mr. Graft, is like, oh, we're going to join his revenge. Yeah, and then of course you have Lois here, who's interviewing him, Lex, and then we see some people related. We see a brief reference to the something from the 80s, the Dan Jurgens Superman stuff with that, from Action Comic, which I love that run. My friend David loves the run too. And though, yeah, and I appreciate though that the artist remembered that when this happened, Superman is not wearing this attire, which I think this is because I think this might be Dan Jurgens' artwork. So at least Dan Jurgens remembered basically what he did, which good job, Dan Jurgens, for remembering this. Yeah, those of you who forgot about this, this happened about, believe it or not, 8 years ago. Yes, for Superman Rebirth. This mostly took up the pages of Action Comics the first year of the run, and also Lex appeared in this very attire for, he didn't appear in Superman per se. Superman was basically Superman off in a small town. Action Comics is where he appeared in almost Superwoman for the first story by Phil Jimenez. So then, of course, Lex is visited by his mom. Yes, his mom. Which, if you're curious... Okay, they say she's Letitia Luthor. As far as I can tell, it comes to Lex, like, because I've read a lot of the pre-Flashpoint Superman comics. Did she appear there? Not that I remember, no. Lex's mom basically was never a picture. I think his father was mentioned a couple times. And if you're curious, like, if anyone has watched Smallville and knows about Lionel Luthor, Lex's father, is he from the comics? He is. The first time I think I remember seeing Lex's mom was actually in Supergirl. And she was played by Brenda Strong, and they always for like, oh yeah, it's like they never said her name for quite a while, and then her whole thing is that she was obsessed with getting rid of Supergirl because her cousin dared put her son in prison because Lex was a dick. But the actor did a great job who played Lex in the show. So then we see Lena, Lex's daughter. Now, I do appreciate, though, the artist did remember something that happened. Now, the whole thing with Brainiac getting involved with his daughter and kind of controlling her, okay, that is actually a reference to Jeff Johns' Superboy. Because that happened there, yes. And if you look very closely, the artist remembered, yeah, she's got marks from Brainiac on her head. And you see Brainiac here appear in a flashback, which, of course, then we see a flashback the first time we met Superman in the 60s, the Jeff Johns Brainiac story. Now, why is Brainiac here in this story, appearing here as a background, like, here, like, watch everything? There's a reason why he's here. He is here to set up the big crossover happening right now, House of Brainiac. Yep, that's the only reason why he's here. And also, we see these people. Who are these people? These are the Cesarnians, Lobo's people. Which, according to... Now, this is a retcon. Yes, Joshua Williams established a retcon where apparently, prior to Lobo blow up his own home planet, Brainiac paid a visit to Cesarnia and just scooped up a city full of Cesarnians. And they're punks like Lobo is. For reasons unexplained. And we see these things in tubes. Like, who could be behind here? I do appreciate Joshua Williams and basically what he does for these issues. He plants seeds for stuff for later. And then we have a flashback of creating the chain. Yeah, I think that was John. Yeah, it was John. So Lex basically is, and of course then of course the chain sees Lena is like, she has your eyes, Lex, because his daughter. Yeah. Yeah, and then she joins and of course he joins part of the Lex Luthor Revenge Squad. Of course he puts on like, and we have this wonderful page of Superman wearing armor, which looks very similar to the one from the animated series, so he's got green gloves. And fights the chain. It puts like a bubble. And of course, yeah, he saved Lex. And of course, Lois is basically watching Superman while he's healing. And yeah, by the way, of course, Perry's still in for office. Now, how is Daily Planet handling Lois not being there? Oh, he's on vacation with Clark, and Jimmy's in charge. And Lena has joined Supercorp. Yep. And then we see Lex's armor. And then we see Moonlit, Marilyn Moonlight. Moonlit, yeah, she's just a character, just a little vigilante. We see Superman in some armor. Yes, armor. And you're thinking, Superman wears armor, that's a stupid idea. Well, ask Josh Williamson why he basically did this. And fights up against Dr. Graft again. And then he's apparently sent, looks like back in time. And then we see Nighthawk and Cinnamon. Okay, those of you who don't know who the heck these two are. These are Western heroes, and it was established part of a retcon that these two are reincarnations of Hawkman and Hawkgirl. Yep. That is 100% completely true. Yes, Nighthawk was Hawkman in the previous life, and Cinnamon, his wife, was Hawkgirl. And then Superman's here too, because he got back in time to the Old West with Marilyn Moonlit, and then we see the Terra Man. Yes, an old Western character who Superman's a fighting and like, ooh, so yeah, I'm sure basically this panel here was meant for the female readers to see Superman's abs. And of course, he gets away, he gets arrested, and of course, well, he's actually sent back to the future. And then we see the S logo under construction. And then apparently, like, then the Revenge Squad basically is coming. We see this mysterious person in the armor. Is it Lex? No. Is it Lena? No. Who it is quite dumb. So we have debut of the Lex Revenge Squad, because they all want to kill Lex Luthor. And of course, we have, I think it's Dr. Graft wants to basically just manipulate, well, the Parasite. And now, the LL01, this hologram, which was supposedly Lex built, basically Lex created this thing, but it was established in House of Brainiac. I'm not going to spoil it, because who actually created this hologram of Lex? It is quite surprising, because Williamson established basically like, well, I'm not going to spoil it here, I'll discuss it. And of course, then he mentioned about her parents her mother being Contessa Erica Alexandra del Patura, which I remember from pre-Flashpoint, that was actually Lex's, because apparently Lex married multiple women and supposedly dated Lois before Clark did. And I think I remember correctly, she was actually, I think she was Lex's 8th wife, and mentioned Brainiac 13, aka Indigo. Yeah. And talks to her grandma. And apparently it's revealed that LexCorp was actually her company, though Lex basically took from her, and then Lex gave it to Lois, because, and here's the thing, she revealed that apparently she was on a private island the whole time, because Lex forced her there. Yeah, and it turns out the person here was actually, well, Lex's mom. Yeah. And this is all because the reason why she joined the Lex Luthor Revenge Squad is because she hates her own son. For daring to put her on an island and take away her company from her. She's that bitter. And of course he gets stabbed. Kryptonite, but look like it's altered. And it's like, oh yeah, it's like... They have Lex apparently puts on his old armor from the Rebirth days, which... Thank you for remembering that, Josh Williamson. And then, of course, well, they briefly go to Small. And of course, they have a flashback to apparently Lex being Small, apparently trying to be a hero. And of course, Parasite basically trying to help too. Love this story. And of course, everybody's in prison. Chain basically is put back in a chain prison. Yeah, Lex is kind of put in a different prison. And then the book ends with Lobo showing up. Finally, the main man is fragging free, which I appreciate the fact that he says fragging because I think a lot of people are missing out when it comes to Lobo. And by the way, the real Lobo. This is Lobo. Not the super pretty boy Lobo that some idiot at DC thought that was Lobo. Like, oh, let's make him skinny. And let's put him in an outfit that covers up his abs and claim he's the main man and killed the real Lobo. Whoever came up with that was an idiot. I would love to meet the idiot and say, you created a really stupid character to claim he was Lobo. Real Lobo. That's a legit Lobo. Yep. And of course, the book ends with Brainiac coming to Earth, setting up the House of Brainiac crossover. This book is amazing. Wow. Heck, even when I read this, I was like so excited to read this thing. 10 out of 10. I'm sure my friend Timmy would love to review this thing. I love to hear his thoughts on this book because this book is amazing. Awesome. Alright. So, next up we have is this big brick known as Superman, the Golden Age Omnibus Volume 5. This collects Action Comics 86 to 105. This is the Superman stories. Superman from 34 to 43 and World's Finest Comics 1925. Mostly put, we have Superman dealing with a few aliens, not much he's normally doing in the Silver Age. He does deal with the Prankster, the Toyman, and Lex Luthor. Though Lex is mostly a one-issue Superman and a few issues of World's Finest. He mostly deals a lot with the Prankster in here. Now, Prankster does not make his debut in these issues. These are other issues featuring him. A lot of the rest of the time, he's dealing with other criminals in Metropolis. But that's kind of what happens with the course of these issues. But still good Golden Age stuff. I do like the Golden Age DC Comics stuff. I've never not been a fan of it per se. I don't think anything is bad here per se. No. Now, who are the people behind these issues? For writing, is mostly put Jerry Siegel with Don Cameron, Joe Simonson, Alvin Schwartz, Whitney Ellsworth, Bill Finger. Yes, Bill Finger does some Superman. Joe Shuster, Wayne Boring, Jack Barney, Sam Cretan, Ed Baruska, Stan Kyle, Wayne Mortimer, Charles Paris, Pete Russ, George Russos, John Sekila, John Smith, Dick Spring, and Ira Yabong. This cover here is done by Jay Bone. There's even a Christmas issue in here where Superman helps up Superman Santa on Christmas. But classic Superman. This may not be for everybody, but I did enjoy this. Like, if you're interested about early appearances by Lex Luthor and Toyman, I would check this book out. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Okay, so that's particularly a particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit the dislike button. Next up, episode 7 of RCM's Lemma, another comic corner, which is going to be quite interesting. While I'm wrapping one book and go through most of another book, and then I'm going to do Martial Magic Muscles, and there's going to be, like, overall about 3 more comic corners left to go for today, and this is one of them. Okay? So, until this next video, bye.